Hello and welcome to Tarot with Teeth. Today we're going to have a look at some Lenormand cards and we're going to decode them intuitively based on the symbology that is in the card. Let's give you a quick look at what deck we're using today. This is the Siren Song for the Lenormand and Kipper cards. It's a really beautiful deck there, slightly different to tarot as I said before, so let's get into it. So the first card that I pulled for the significator is the woman. So we have the woman here. She is holding a nautilus shell in her hand. We've got the Ace of Swords or the Ace of Spades, which correlates to the Ace of Swords up here. We've got the number 29. We've got all these sort of seaweedy type tentacles coming out of the bottom of her skirt. We've got a lot of red in the bottom of the skirt here and around the spiral. So looking at this card, automatically, if I look at the Ace of Swords here, that tells me that this is a woman who is living in her truth and speaking her truth. And so she's the queen, she's the Ace of Swords here. That's the sword of truth. And I believe very much so that this is a person who is confident in her truth, confident to speak her truth and to live authentically in her truth. Now she's beautifully dressed. She could walk into any room and own it from this way up. Not sure how she'd walk into a room with these things down the bottom, but that's what that's telling me. And if we move across to the nautilus shell, the spiral here that she's holding in her hand, this sort of indicates how she's gotten to this position of living her authentic truth and speaking her authentic truth. This represents non-linear time. It represents feminine energy and the womb. It represents wisdom, and it represents sacred cycles of growth and expansion of consciousness. So when with the spiral to me is much more representative of an ascension. To me, the spiral is the ascension. So we don't ascend from a point down below and go straight up. We go around and around in circles, and every time we go around in these circles, we learn lessons from a higher perspective than we did before. So it's all about the growth and expansion of consciousness is like the outward spiral. And then the return to self on the inner spiral is sort of all that shadow healing work. That's coming back into yourself and integrating the lessons that you learn from the outward spiral. So this to me represents ascension, evolution, growth, and that non-linear time. So she's literally holding that in her hand and showing it off. Look what I've done. Look what I've achieved. This is how much I've evolved. Now I can speak my truth, live in my authentic truth. I carry myself with confidence and conviction. So that's what I'm getting just from those three things there. So if we go down to this weird and wacky below the skirts business here with this these sort of seaweedy tentacles, this is showing me the two different aspects of this woman. Okay, so in the above, in the 3D world, in the real world that we live in, this is showing me that she's confident, she's in control, and this is where she's grounded. Okay, she's grounded in reality. She knows who she is, and what's below the surface here of her skirts it indicates the subconscious, the intuition, the mystery. So where this is a little bit different, I guess, because most of the time we might think about, if someone was to be firmly grounded in themselves and what they were doing, that they might have roots. Okay, so we often think about trees being firmly grounded. Their roots are grounded into the earth, and they're very solid and stable, and then the head might be in the clouds. Okay, in this instance, it's kind of reversed, but it's kind of perfect because it sort of indicates how women function. Okay, I can feel it in me waters, that kind of thing, the intuition, the wisdom, the womb wisdom. This is all the gut feels. This is all the subconscious. This is the cosmic connection. This is the connection to spirit, source, and team. And she's hiding it under her skirts. It's there, but this is not what she presents to the outside world. What she presents to the outside world is that calm, confident, in control, I know what I'm doing, I know who I am woman. But it's all basically fueled by this wisdom, this intuition, these gut feelings, and this trust that she has in her cosmic connection and her spirit team, and that sort of thing. So lots of stuff going on here when you break it down. And if we move down into the 29, the number of the card, that reduces to 11. And 11 is the number of new opportunities, new possibilities, new beginnings, fresh starts. And the fact that it reduces to 11, it's double confirmation of those things, because 1 is really those things, new opportunities, new beginnings. And with the 11, it's double confirmation. It may also indicate a partnership of some sort, whether that be business or romantic, or coming into union of some sort because of the double ones. That's coming into union. And if we take it just a little bit further with all the red around this evolutionary spiral, this nautilus, and around the base of her skirts here, red indicates passion and vitality and energy and action. So this is our woman. This is who we're looking at the moment. She's showing us who she is now, and how she's got there, the 2 different aspects of herself, and where she currently is in her energy in terms of ready to speak her truth and live authentically. So the next card I pulled was the snake. So we have a quick look here at the snake. In this instance, the snake represents transformation. It represents shedding of the old to make way for the new. It represents stealth, that this woman has potentially been working in the background or keeping all the stuff that she's doing private or hidden until she's ready to reveal herself. Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles here. That's what this represents. The clubs represents the Queen of Pentacles. Now that tells me that abundance, balance between home and work and relationships, and there's balance there in life. The Queen of Pentacles is practical. She's resourceful. She's grounded. She's self-sufficient. That's telling me all the things about this significator, this woman. She has not only living in her authentic truth and speaking her truth, she's now becoming the Queen of Pentacles as a result. She's bringing in abundance. She's bringing in balance. She's resourceful. She's using everything she knows and putting it to good use to manifest all the dreams and to bring everything into fruition. So that's what that tells me there. We also have the number 7. This tells me there are lots of options, that she is strategic. She uses strategy to decide how she's going to move forward. And 7's also the lucky number. So, while she's using her head and her intelligence with the strategy, there's also a fair amount of luck. And when I say luck, I mean more like that sort of, she co-created luck. She's creating her own luck by trusting in herself, trusting in her spirit team and guides, putting the steps into action, and then seeing the results. So it's about rewards and things there as well. So getting back to the snake and the actual shape of the snake and what's going on here, we can see that there's an infinity loop in the tail of this snake as well. So the infinity loop suggests balance and harmony again. So we've got double confirmation of balance and harmony. It represents limitless potential. It represents flow state, being in a constant state of flow. It represents the constant process of growth and transformation, which also then mirrors back to the card with the spiral in it. That is constant growth and expansion as well. We don't go from point A on the ground to point Z in the sky for an ascension. It's all about evolving in loops and going back through loops and working out knowledge and wisdom each time you come through that loop and looking at it from a different perspective. So we've got that imagery there again with the infinity symbol. And also, if you turn the infinity symbol on its side, you have the number 8. Now, the number 8 represents mastery. It also represents evolution, forward movement, and it represents accomplishment. So this tells me that whatever the woman has been doing, whatever she's been working towards, she will succeed in. She will accomplish the dreams, the goals that she's working towards. And we've got this funny little bauble here on the bottom as well. And I kind of read that bauble as kind of like a little mini anchor. So just to make sure that she stays grounded. I also kind of see it like a pendulum, a bit of a pendulum as well. So, or a compass, like a direction or a rudder. So maybe this bauble helps her decide what direction to go in. It's that pendulum, yes, no, maybe, go ahead, bit like that sort of situation hanging on the bottom here. Now, I do want to point out we are in the striking position. This snake is in the striking position. It's got fangs exposed, mouth wide open, it's raised up and it's ready to strike. And what that tells me is that this woman is ready to take a bite out of life. She's ready to strike while the iron's hot. She's ready to let people feel her power. She's ready to get their attention. She's ready to take action and take charge. So that's what that tells me intuitively for this card and this woman based on what we got out of this card in relation to her and where she's currently at. So she's ready, she's hot, she's ready to strike. And watch out because here she comes, and you may or may not like the bite. And that also comes with a bit of a warning then, okay? So if I was to look at the guidebook for this deck, I know that this card actually represents watching out for those that wish to deceive you or cause you harm as you rise. Okay, there is sometimes deceit and betrayal associated with this card. I very much feel like that is just like a secondary warning in this instance for this particular woman who's ready to strike, ready to show people who she is and catch them by surprise potentially. Just a little warning for her that not everybody is going to be happy for her. Not everybody is going to congratulate her or share her joy at her success. There may be some that wish to, bring her down a peg or two, or there might be some jealousy. This card can indicate deceit and betrayal, that kind of thing. So she needs to just be mindful that while she's, putting herself out there and speaking her truth and living her best life and showing people who she is, striking, that there are going to be some people who aren't going to be happy about that and potentially may wish to deceive her or cause her harm or something like that. So it's just to keep that in the back of the mind as well, to be mindful of those people. And I'm moving into the final card. The final card here, I pulled the dog. Now, this card very much indicates to me like the faithful familiar, the loyal animal by this woman's side, okay? This dog, if you spell dog backwards, it spells God, another word for source or spirit team, universe. So this is her faithful spirit team, I feel, that is always by her side, always has her back, waits patiently for her to, pick up on the signs and grow and expand and move forward. We know that dogs are faithful. There's loads of words we can associate with dogs: loyal, trustworthy, ally, reliable, obedient. There's a sort of steadfast sincerity to dogs. They're our most loyal friends. You can always count on them when you are feeling low, or you can always count on them to give you a big greeting when you get home. They're excited to see you. These guys are on your team, they're on your side. So for me, I feel with this one, it's very much about the woman trusting in her connection to her spirit team and guides and the universe, and that they have her back in what she's doing. Okay, this is like it's a card that says keep trusting, keep putting your faith in, and we will be here for you, holding the fort and ready to greet you and congratulate you when you achieve, when you succeed. Okay, so this is telling me too that there's a very calm energy with this dog, and she has a very calm look on her face. They're a team, they're in tandem, right? She knows that the dog is there if she needs the dog for extra support, but she's also got what it takes within herself to get the job done. So that's what I see there with the dog. And also, if we have a look at the numbers on the cards as well, we have the number 18 here, which reduces to 9. That tells me that we're very close to attainment. We're very close to reaping the rewards. Or we, when I say we, she, the woman, is very close to achieving success. She's almost there. It's 9. 10 is the card of completion. So 9 is like you've put the yards in, you've battled, you've risen to the challenge, you've fought, you've stayed the course, and you're so close. You're so close. But what's beautiful about this is we also have in this card the 10 of hearts. Now the 10 is the end of a completion, the completion of a cycle, or the end of a cycle. 10 is the attainment card. 10 tells me that she is going to get her heart's desire. This is wish fulfillment. This is rewards and success for everything that she's put in. This is potential fulfilled. So this is a really great little 3-card spread here that indicates what's happening for our significator, for this woman. She knows who she is. She's speaking her truth. She's living her truth. She's ready to share that truth with the world. She's ready to step into her power and strike while the iron's hot and let people see who she is, what she's about, what she's here for. She's going to be infinitely successful if she continues to, put her faith and her trust in her spirit team and guides, and, patiently follow her path. I think it's a great spread, and I hope this has helped you break down the symbology in cards to try to work out some meaning for yourself. This is very much an intuitive read, straight up looking at the symbology in these cards and creating the narrative around them. So congratulations to our significator, who's done so much work on herself, has done so much growth and expansion, has evolved so much to the point where she's firmly got her head on her shoulders in the real world, and her roots run deep with the subconscious and the spiritual realm, the ethereal. And she is ready to shed that old skin and take a big old bite out of the world. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to you if you resonate with her. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Thank you.